5, 6, 7.
Let's go. Hey, what's up? I'm AJ Siosin. I'm from Bbox Entertainment, and we go to the event called Battlefest. Well, my cousin, he's about 2 years older than me, he was in a group called Dangerous Image, which to me, up to today, is probably still one of the most sickest dance groups ever. That was 91, 90, something around there. He was in the group. They started doing a bunch of dance competitions in the area in the east side of San Jose. And I followed along and went to my first dance competition, World War III, when I was in 7th grade. He was in a group called Dangerous Image, which to me, up to today, is probably still one of the most sickest dance groups ever. That was 91, 90. Followed along, and after I saw that, I started dancing with a bunch of my friends in my junior high. And we formed a dance group called Mass Destruction, and we would break dance and do some choreo, but it was we were just b-boys mainly. And I graduated high school, no more dancing. I pretty much had to just go to school, right? And do the important thing. Joined FYC, which was a youth program in San Jose, and I noticed that some of those kids were still dancing. I was thinking, oh man, it's not like it is now, where there's every single person you know is in a dance group, but it was still like something that the kids liked to do. It didn't completely die. It just, kids didn't do it. But there was enough for me to go, oh man, that's cool. It's pretty awesome. And so I was 2001, I was ready to graduate college. I think I was a year away. And I was thinking to myself, okay, look, I'm about to be an accountant and a financial analyst, but I still want to keep my roots in the community because I was still a member of FYC at the time. FYC, and the reason why I mentioned FYC so much is because FYC was, you do a lot of youth organizing. And it's pretty much one of the only organizations, at least in the Bay Area, but definitely in San Jose, where youth run it. And youth run it on ways the youth before them ran it. And so I said, oh man, me and my partner Mark, he was doing graphic design or something like that. And I came to him, I said, yo, what we should do this magazine. We should do like a Filipino youth magazine that would cover everything that was happening in Daly City and the East Bay and Vallejo and Sac, and then in South San Jose, East Side San Jose, because there was like a lot of things going on. There's just like a lot of there's Street Jam, and then there was all these Panay was singing, Jocelyn Enriquez was going on. So it was around 2001 that we said, like, man, let's start documenting this and create like a little mini newspaper. And it's not like we were trying to get rich or anything. We just wanted to do something. And there was a couple of examples where it worked. That just no one was really going all the way with it. And we had the resources to do that because we had a bunch of FYC to be on the staff. So before Bbox Entertainment, what people don't realize is that we were a magazine first. It was called Bbox Magazine. We did one issue, and we were getting ready to do the second issue, and I believe the second issue was on Friendship Games, if I'm not mistaken. We saw some groups dancing. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's dance routines at the beginning, and we're like, you think dancing could come back? And yeah, I mean, there was a few dance groups here and there, but there was no like scene like it is now. But we thought to ourselves, you know what? Before we go to do the second issue, let's do a show. Let's bring back up the World War. I had so much fight. I remember I thought of the name Battlefest. People were like, that's a stupid name. Oh my god, that's too simple. Why don't you make it 3 words or World Jam or some shit like that? First Battlefest ever. Now we come to that. First Battlefest ever was November, I want to say 2 or 4, 2001. There was maybe 60 people that showed up. Maybe 60 people. It was pretty embarrassing. But at the same time, well, hey, we're not club promoters. We didn't have a scene to go on. This was the first show. This is the first show of its kind that's happened since 1993 or 94 even. Yeah, there's a couple of jams here and there, but no one ever said, look, this is a dance competition, or bringing back dancing. We don't give a fuck. We're just gonna do it and make dancers dance again. We're just gonna make them dance. 8 or 7, something like that. But at that time, it was a full show. And we did the show, and we went from 60 people to almost 1,000 people. Now, the room that we held it in was the ballroom at San Jose State. And if you had a dance competition dance floor and 1,000 people, that thing is packed. Like steaming, the room is steamy, everyone's sweaty. And people, there was no chairs at that time, there was no comforts like there is now, you know. It was just, we had a room for them to hang out in, and they'd come in, it was cypher style, it was everyone sitting on the floor and stuff like that. And there's still probably pictures of it today. And that was it. We had, I think, Chain Reaction won, Mind Tricks came in second, Mind Over Matter was in third, I can't remember who came in fourth, and it was crazy. I mean, the cops came, they were like, this is ridiculous, I mean, there's too many people here. Now back then, 1,000 people was a lot, because you went from 0 to 1,000. And that, I mean, it was a wrap. I mean, Funkonometry, LA came to San Francisco, they started something that year, and all the good dancers started joining that, and Nappy went over there, you know, for Mind Over Matter. It was just an explosion. I mean, the first time I ever heard a dance workshop was 03, or 2003, and I was like, wait a minute, you can have someone teach a routine, and someone who's gonna pay $15 to get in that workshop? That's not gonna work. How are you gonna fool those people? You know, I was really like, I don't know who did it, but I remember I heard about it. I was like, okay, I understand that works in the studio world, but you're gonna have cats off the street, you know, attend a workshop by, I can't remember who the person was. It's like, that's ridiculous. And you know, next thing you know, there's like 5 workshops a day in San Jose alone, right? And that's crazy to me. I still remember thinking that, like, wow, right? You know. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's the start of dancing. I mean, as far as you know it. I mean, yeah, LA was doing it, but until you had you had another city, as you know, where dances was as popular, or starting to be as popular. And then you know, San Francisco going to LA, and LA going to San Francisco, and you had this cross styles. And Sean Arista, for instance, I think he was developing his style. He moved down to LA, and then you know, everything you see in LA is now because of something that he was doing. If you go back in style-wise, it came from the Bay. I'm not saying the Bay is the best in the world, but the Bay is the best in the world. You know, like I think the originality-wise, you see a lot. I mean, if you go to Battlefest, all the dance groups are different, right? Yeah, the Bay has a lot of originality, and that's been the way it is since 2001. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, I don't like to say I'm an OG. I've been more of like its biggest fan. You know, because to me, dancing is that kid from Silverdale Middle School in the East Side San Jose taking the bus to Santa Clara Fairgrounds to watch a dance competition. And I've maintained that focus when we do Battlefest. If you notice, Battlefest has always been approachable. There's always been some kind of grimy feeling to it. The price ticket for the admission ticket for Battlefest in the first year we did it was $20. We've never raised the price. It's always been $20. No matter how much costs have gone up, we figured out a way to kind of, well, also the dancing grew so that it's, you know, it stays viable. But we've always priced it because we want that kid to be able to go. That 7th grader, 8th grader. When we started Battlefest, dancing was, for the most part, the Bay in LA. There was some in Chicago, there was some going on in New York, you know, but it was still, in Vegas, you know, there was still some dancing. I mean, at least as you know it now. And I'm just talking in the framework of hip-hop, choreography, dancing. It was basically when we started, or at least a year into it or so, there was the Bay in LA, and it was just who can be the dopest. And I remember, you know, because a lot of my staff has been with me since day one. We haven't added a lot of people onto Bbox Entertainment staff, and we haven't subtracted a lot of people.
So most of the people who with me have seen dance groups grow as much as I have. They just see it at Battlefest and where I travel to other shows and go watch them. But they see like, dude, what is going on with dance groups? You know, this is like, you know, 08, 09. They're just like, what's going on? Like, it's the same shit every time. Basically, we just got less hungry. Dancers got less hungry to be great dancers. And I'm sure it's for more reasons than what I said. But, you know, you started seeing an explosion of dance groups, but you also started seeing an explosion of mediocre dancing. And then I just started seeing a general change in attitude between dancers. They were just like, you know what? I remember watching one kid where he just could not stop looking at himself in the camera. I was at a workshop. I don't want to say the dance group, but I was at a workshop just hanging out with them. And there's this one kid who was an average dancer, and I was like, all right, he's okay. And I just noticed him, and I go, wow, this kid cannot stop looking at himself in the mirror. He doesn't care about anybody else in the dance studio. I'm like, okay, he's 6 months from trying out for EBDC because he just wants to be a star. So the dance community is dead at that point. It's not dead, but it's suffering. It's suffering a brain drain or creative drain. So anyway, the biggest difference is they're less hungry. And this is an easy test. You ask a dancer or a person who is a groupie or a person who watches dance, and you ask them one question, and this is always the litmus test. Would they take the bus to a dance competition? And most of them would never do it. They're like, that's too far. Even though it's like in Milpitas and you're in San Jose or something, or you're in San Francisco and the competition in the other city. I'm not gonna take the bus to go watch. I need to look good. I'm not gonna be smelly off fart. If you're talking like the dancing as just like the craft of dancing, what you're doing is you're communicating visually what a song is doing. There's a certain beat, a certain lyric. You know, your dancing is supposed to speak that visually. You know, it's possible to cry watching a dance routine because they've executed the visual expression of that song perfectly. Which is a lot easier to do if you're a lyrical dancer, I guess, but or a hip-hop dancer. But even when you're a b-boy, you know, when a certain song goes on, you take on a certain personality. If the song has a faster or slower beat to it, you take on another personality. You know, you're still your own. But if a dancer can really understand that, they start becoming visually a better dancer, regardless of if their, you know, snaps are quick enough, you know, if their actual dancing is good enough. But they understand what they're doing. That's how you can really tell this, as far as the dancing is concerned. Dance groups is tough because it depends if it's a new group starting, like just from a group of friends who want to get together and start a group. Because I've seen dance groups start from nowhere and become really great. But so that's really dependent on whoever the leader is, whoever that. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the best dancer. You know, it just has to be, you know, a person who's going to grow. So, I mean, if without knowing the dance group, it's a dance group that gets better. And if you're just having fun, you can tell. That, you know, there's dance groups that come out of nowhere, but because they're having fun and they're dancing, they're not ABDC moving. You know, they're not copying a formula, and they're just dancing. They will always look great in the crowd. You know, the number one judge of a great dance group is, will the crowd love them? It's not because they won Battlefest. Yeah, it's another level when you win Battlefest or you place top 3 in Battlefest, and that's a great thing, but usually the crowd cheered loudest for the eventual winner of Battlefest. And I think, and that's Funk Beyond Control is a great example. They went first at their first competition, their first Battlefest. They were 13-year-olds, 12 years old. They went first out of 12 dance groups and won the whole thing. They absolutely killed the thing. And I remember that performance, and people were just like, I don't care who performs next, they won. And they did. They ended up actually, you know, they scored the highest and they won. And that was never been done before, where you go first in the competition and win. You know, you have to be Jabberwockies to do that. to go first at a dance competition and still win. You have to be that kind of a surprise. But you know what? You can tell they wanted it. They wanted to win. They wanted to perform. You know, it's like you're there to entertain the crowd. You're not there for people to watch you. It's not like you're supposed to be there. I mean, I've been to smaller dance performances where Bbox was performing back in the old days, and they were as good as they are now. It was that inspiring to be like, I don't think I'm ever going to see this from another group of people in my life. You know, not every day, but not every Battlefest where I've seen a dance group, even the dance group that won, was I necessarily like, wow, they wanted to just destroy it. Yeah, it's just, you can tell when people want it. And then if you can communicate the fact that you want it as a dance group, you know, that's something special to watch. It's really special to watch. Okay, ready? I'm gonna lay it down. Just keep dancing, you know. This is AJ from Bbox Entertainment. From Battlefest, I hope I was informative and helpful to people, or at least educational to some people of how the dance scene started. And to anybody who's watching this that hasn't been dancing for more than 3 years, I hope that you understand that there's a history that has gone into what you're doing. And there's a community that is, you know, geez, almost 20 years old if you're just speaking specifically choreography dancing. Almost 40 years if you're talking hip-hop in general. Don't forget, it's hip-hop, and you're doing hip-hop dancing. And if you think you're not, then you are not. And then you shouldn't be, you know, you should know the difference. So anyway, but in reality, just keep dancing, keep having fun, keep trying to get better. The dance industry, the dance scene will change as time goes. So the best thing you can do is just have fun and understand that it's all about